Hey guys, welcome to the next video on Java for Beginners. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about the inheritance concepts of Java programming. So, first of all, let us look at what the literal meaning of inheritance is. Inheritance basically means that when a child inherits or gains or obtains the properties of its parent, then we say the child is inherited from its parent. So, similarly in programming, a class can be considered as a parent, and another class can be created with the same properties of the first class, and then it's said to be then the second class is said to be inherited from the first class. So here basically what happens when you inherit is the child which has inherited from its parent has all the properties of the parent in addition to its own properties. The first class, the class from which another class can be derived out of, is called the parent class or superclass in programmatical terms, and the class which is derived out of another class is called as a subclass. So superclass and subclass, or subclass is the child class. So the class from which you derive another class the class from which you derive another class is the superclass, and the class which is derived from that superclass is called the subclass. So always remember one thing, that the subclass can have all the properties, all the methods, all the instance variables of the superclass from which it is derived out of, but it can also have its own additional attributes, properties, or methods, or member variables, And so that being said, let me just quickly brief why we have to use inheritance and why inheritance is one of the important concepts in object-oriented programming. So consider multiple objects have multiple objects share common properties. So these inheritance is the concept that helps you to group all the common properties among different objects into a single class, and that can be considered as a superclass. So then all the different classes can be derived out of the superclass, including all the properties which are common to the objects, and along with its own additional properties. So there are many other advantages of inheritance. So let me just quickly tell you how we can derive or use inheritance in our program to derive subclass from another superclass. So we create a class first. So this is going to be the parent class. Then we can say class clothing. So whatever you want. So we have a class clothing, and here we can have our own instance variables. So for example, we can have string material. So string material, we can have one method, void set material. Okay, so void set material, we can say, so this is going to take one string parameter. We can say so there you go. We have an instance variable for the class clothing. We have a method of its own. So then we're going to write our subclass. So you say class, the class name, shirt, and you have to use the keyword extends in order to denote or represent in your program that this shirt, class shirt, extends from the class after the extends keyword, as we're going to be saying clothing. So now when you use the extends keyword, you say that the shirt, class shirt, implements, or it's not implements it is completely different in Java. So it inherits all its properties from the class clothing. So you can also have your own string color. So you can have void get color. Oops, it's not void, it's string. So you can say written color. So there you go. You can write your main function then. So you can create an object for the class shirt. You can say shirt, my shirt equals new shirt. Then what you can do is you can access Here you have created an object myShared for the class shared, but still you can see that you can have access to all the member variables and the methods of its parent class. So this class shared is derived from the class clothing, so you can have access to all the methods right here unless they are specified as private, and you can have access to all the variables here unless they're specified as private. So you can say myShared. Remember, this is an object of the class shared. myShared.setMaterial. So you can say cotton. So then you can also myShared.color equals red. You can say myShared.material color. So let's just quickly run that thing. Okay, so it gives out cotton and red. So just wanted to let you know the basics of inheritance. So here we have the parent class, that's clothing, and here we have another class that extends clothing, which means that it inherits all its properties, like all the properties that are in clothing, along with its own additional properties. Here we have material, void set material. So this class can use those materials. Use those the material and the set material member variables and the method, and it can also have its own member variables and methods. So there you go. That's all the basics of inheritance. We're going to be talking more about inheritance from the next video, and until then, take care. Bye bye. Please don't forget to share and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, guys. See you again in the next video.